And joining, but they can tune in later. So I can go ahead and get started if everyone's ready. So hi, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. I just want to make a few quick notes before we dive in. So we are going to be recording today's webinar. Then we also have a live transcript running in the back for those of you who requested a French translated version to be sent to you afterwards. I also just ask if everyone's able to keep their microphones muted during the presentation, just so we don't have any background noise happening. Yeah, so if you know of anyone that wasn't able to come, or if you miss anything during the webinar, we'll be posting the recording on our website afterwards as well. So if you miss anything, don't worry. And yeah, so throughout the presentation, if you do have any questions, you can feel free to save them for the question period at the end, or you can drop them in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them at the end. So a couple of my colleagues are here as well. Our program manager, Jody, and our executive director, Shelly Cratchie. Shelly's going to be monitoring the chat as well and can help answer any of the questions that you have through the presentation. And also just to note that we won't be recording the question period as well. So don't be afraid to ask any questions. And yeah, okay, looks like we have a good group so far. So I'll go ahead and get started. So my name is Leann, and I'm thrilled to be hosting our very first webinar as part of our inaugural webinar series. So as I'm sure you all know, the theme of today's webinar is volunteering with the Forest Stewardship Service. So this is a new exciting program that we're launching. So I'll dive into more details about that later. But first, I'll start off with a bit of an introduction about myself and some of my background, as well as some details about our organization as well. Yeah, so like I mentioned, my name's Leann. I'm the Community Engagement Lead here at FCF. I've been with the team since the spring of 2024, so it's been almost a year now. I can happily say it's been a very incredible journey. I've had the privilege of meeting so many inspiring and dedicated people through my job, both through my amazing colleagues and our wonderful volunteers, such as yourselves. A bit of background on me. I graduated from Carleton University here in Ottawa with a degree in environmental science. After I graduated, I started working in marine conservation with another nonprofit organization. So during that time, I had the chance to engage with the community through educational events and workshops that focused around sustainable seafood. And I would also have the opportunity to complete an internship that focused on plastic reduction and circular economy. So through this, I had the opportunity to partner with some local Ottawa businesses to help reduce their plastic waste. So that was exciting. So these experiences have not only been invaluable, but I'm also really fortunate to be able to bring them into my current role, which is in the forestry industry. And every day I really get to learn so much more about this field, and it's been an incredibly fulfilling journey. So on your screen, you might notice that I also have a picture of my cat, Rusty. I had to include him because he's such an integral part of my life. He also really loves trees, and he likes to climb trees, as well as chase the butterflies outside. He's the one who kind of encourages me to get outside every day, mostly because he's screaming at the door for me to let him out. He may or may not make an appearance during this webinar, because another one of his favorite activities is to follow the mouse on my computer screen. So you might join in for a little bit or be meowing at my door outside. So if you hear that, just ignore it. Yeah, so as the community engagement lead at FCF, I do wear quite a few hats, and that's probably something you'll hear throughout all of our webinars, because we all sort of pitch in and help in various roles in this organization. It really is a team effort. So some of my main responsibilities, though, include overseeing our communications, which covers everything from our social media to our volunteer callouts, managing our website, events calendar, and creating newsletters and blog posts. I also help to coordinate our groups, our volunteer groups in our events, helping to engage the community members and encouraging them to support our local green spaces. I also play a key role in developing our stewardship program and supporting all the stewardship activities that we run, which I will be talking about later on. And last but not least, I also help with planning and supporting our fundraising initiatives to help further our mission as well. It is a lot of work, but it's incredibly rewarding, and I love being able to see the positive impact that we're making firsthand on the community and on our forests as well. So I'll dive in a bit deeper into what our organization is and what it is that we do. So Forêt Capital Forest, we are a nonprofit organization and a registered charity. We were established in 2020, so we're coming up on our 5th year anniversary. So our main mission is really to help mitigate the effects of climate change, and we do this through growing urban forests and increasing the canopy cover in the National Capital Region. So we do this through collaboration with our amazing community members and a really dedicated network of volunteers who help us to plant and care for our trees. So while tree planting might sound simple, there's actually a lot more to it. So one thing that we do is we make sure that every tree we plant is part of a strategic plan. So this includes everything from securing our land and doing soil assessments to selecting the right species, and most importantly, committing to caring for these trees for 2 to 5 years after they've been planted until what we call their free to grow stage. So like I mentioned, engaging the community is also a huge part of our mission. We're so fortunate to be based in Ottawa, where there's such an incredible community of tree lovers and volunteers who have been able to help us every step of the way. So our hope is that together we can really build a deeper connection with nature and make an actual lasting impact on our community. So in addition to planting and caring for trees, we also try to prioritize impact evaluation. And by this, I mean, we try to gather as much data as we can about our planting sites and our stewardship activities so we can really make the most informed decisions in the future and just continue to grow as an organization based on what we've learned. So the way that we're able to support all of these initiatives is at our base of operations. For those of you that aren't familiar, it's located on the Just Food Community Farm in Blackburn Hamlet. So here we have about 9 acres of land that we utilize to support our planting projects, as well as educate the community on how to maximize their green spaces, as well as just learn about what our organization does there. So FCF, we're involved in quite a wide range of really exciting projects, but here are just a few of the main ones. So like I mentioned before, tree planting is really at the core of what we do. So we organize tree planting events all across Ottawa and Gatineau. We work with community groups, schools, and corporate teams to help us plant and care for our trees. In 2024 alone, we planted over 5,000 native trees, shrubs, and forbs across our various sites in Ottawa and Gatineau. And in 2025, we're projected to and hopefully going to plant more than last year as well, which is really exciting. We're also driven to become leaders in tidy forests. We've planted 13 tidy forests thus far since 2022 using the Miyawaki method. And that includes 5 tiny forests that we've planted at our base of operations. So for those of you that aren't familiar, these are sort of really dense, fast-growing forests that are able to provide a great habitat for pollinators. They can help cool urban areas, boost biodiversity. They're really ideal for smaller urban spaces as well. So at our base of operations, we've also created an interactive walking path with educational signage all around it. So this sort of offers our visitors the opportunity to also take a self-guided tour. So on all of our signs, we have QR codes that you can scan to learn more about our site and what we do. And then at the start of our path, you'll also find we have a community food forest, which serves as really a living example of how trees, shrubs, and perennials can come together and create a self-sustaining edible landscape. And so in the food forest, we also host a lot of workshops and tours, where we do tours of our entire base of operations. But one of our directors, Shelley Lambert, holds a pruning workshop every spring here, and other workshops throughout the year as well. And yeah, as we continue to evolve and grow as an organization, we've also been working at expanding our base of operations to include, we got a new greenhouse, a new shed, and last summer we were able to create a tree nursery that currently cares for over, I believe, 3,000 trees or a few thousand trees. And all of these trees are connected to a drip irrigation system that are waiting to be planted at our sites throughout the year. And in addition to that as well, we've also been working hard to develop a seed collection team with the goal of eventually growing our own tree stock. And last year, we were proud to have some of our staff members also certified as seed collectors. So our work doesn't stop here also. Stewardship, like I mentioned, is also very essential to ensuring that our forests survive and thrive. And so that's where our volunteers really come in. So our volunteers are the heart of our organization. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without you guys. You guys help us in so many ways, from planning fundraiser events to caring for our trees after they've been planted, or even harvesting fruit at our base of operations. So today I'm going to be focusing mainly on our stewardship volunteers, who play a critical role in keeping our younger trees alive. So during the spring and summer months, we usually host between 1 to 3 tree care events a week. So these events typically take place on weekdays, but we also have some weekend and weekday evening events for those of you that aren't able to make it during the day. And all of our events are also open to the public. So volunteers with any experience levels are welcome as well. Yeah, so our entire spring and summer event schedule is actually going to be posted soon on our events calendar on our website. And then we're also going to be sending out weekly email updates to notify our volunteers about our upcoming events. So what is it that our stewardship volunteers actually do? So here I've listed a few of the key activities. First up is invasive species removal. So invasive species are insects, plants, or animals that are not native to the region that we're planting in. So this is probably one of the most common tree care activities that we do, which is removing the surrounding weeds and grass, because they can compete with the trees for nutrients, water, and sunlight. So depending on the type of weed or plants and their stage of maturity, we may remove them by pulling out the plant's entire root system, or using what we call the chop and drop method. Our stewards are also taught how to remove invasive forest pests, including Japanese beetles. They like to munch on the leaves of all of our trees, so we try to remove them if we see them. Watering is also essential for our trees, especially in their first few years of establishment, to keep the root system and the surrounding soil moist. So especially during hot and dry periods, their need for water really increases. So our volunteers help us water our trees and then watch for signs of heat stress and drought as well. Mulching is also another very important task. So applying mulch around the base of the tree helps retain moisture in the soil and also helps to suppress weed growth. However, after a year or two, new plants sometimes can begin to outcompete the young trees. So that's where our volunteers sort of come in and help us remulch some of the trees that we planted, just sort of adding a fresh layer of mulch to keep the soil around the roots nice and healthy. And finally, tree guards. So protecting our trees from browsing animals. So our young trees and shrubs are very vulnerable to being eaten by deer and rabbits and other animals. Deer especially like to eat the buds and the foliage on the trees, while the rodents like mice and rabbits like to nibble on the bark during the winter. So to protect our trees, we apply tree guards around all of our trees at all of our sites in the fall, and then we remove them in the early spring as well. It is a big job, especially since we have a lot of trees, but for our volunteers, it's a great way to just get outside and make a real impact. Plus, it's a task that doesn't really require too much skill, and you don't have to get your hands dirty, which is a good bonus. Yeah, so another important part of stewardship is also reporting what you observe at our planting sites. So this helps us keep track of tree health and helps us decide where extra care is needed. So we created a tree care report form so that you can visit any of our sites in your own time and just submit a quick report that can tell us like when the site has last been stewarded. Are the trees getting enough water? Are there any signs of pests or animal damage? This is a really great option for volunteers who aren't able to make it out to all of our events, but still want to be able to feel like they're making a difference just on their own schedule. And it is very simple. You just go to our website. If you click Get Involved and then click Submit a Tree Care Report, this will take you to a list of all of our sites and a map as well. So you just click on which site that you're visiting, and it'll give you a map of the exact area that our trees are planted. And on that page as well, we included tree care instructions as well as health and safety guidelines. So we really walk you through every step. So whether you're a first-time steward or you've attended one of our tree care events before, really anyone can submit a tree care report. It's very easy. Yeah, so once you read those instructions, then you can just fill out this quick form. So it just asks you questions about what kind of tree care you did. And then you can also leave any comments or notes about what you've observed. And you can also include a picture as well if you choose to. So yeah, everything I kind of just went over really explains how you can get involved as a volunteer, which also ties in with our new program that I am excited to announce, which is the Forest Stewardship Service. So this is an education-focused program that really aims to help our volunteers develop the skills and the confidence to care for trees and our urban forests. So by attending our hands-on workshops and events, our volunteers will really gain that experience in tree planting, maintenance, or seed collection, and much more. And through this, you can earn digital badges as a reflection of your learning and your commitment as well. So we really want our volunteers to feel connected to the work that they're doing, and we're hoping that this program will give them a sense of ownership and recognition for their contributions as well. So someone who's been anxiously waiting to get their hands dirty is our Forest Stewardship Service mascot, who's Birchie the Badger. Birchie, he's an adventurous volunteer with FCF. He likes to end a long day of stewardship by sitting down at the table to enjoy a big dish of teamwork with a cup of community spirit. Birchie will be with you every step of the way as you reach new achievements and earn your badges. So now that you've met Birchie, we can sort of dive into the badges that you can start earning. We're always working on expanding the program as well. For now, these are the badges that we currently have available to recognize your contributions. Yeah, so I'll start off by introducing our stewardship badges. These badges recognize your involvement in tree care, whether you're joining our stewardship events or just visiting sites on your own. So there's 3 levels that you can work towards, starting with the Sprouting Steward badge. So earning this one is very simple. You just need to attend a tree care event. And at each one of our tree care events, our FCF staff will walk you through the activities that we're doing and also provide you with hands-on training to get you started. And to reach level 2, you can earn the frequent flyer badge by visiting any of our sites 5 times. So this can be through an FCF-led event or by visiting any of our sites on your own and submitting a tree care report. So level 3 is the Forest Guardian badge. This one requires 10 site visits and at least 3 tree care reports. So for example, you could attend 5 FCF-led tree care events and then visit a site on your own on 5 different occasions. So yeah, and then just be sure to submit a tree care report so we're able to track your progress as well. There is also a bit of a secret 4th level badge that I'll go into a bit more later. It's called the Stewardship Leader badge. So this is sort of an optional badge for that can be earned after achieving the Forest Guardian badge. So a volunteer that has the Stewardship Leader badge demonstrates that they have the skills and training to lead a tree care event or independently, or if they've expressed interest in doing so, and they've completed the necessary training. So this badge really recognizes volunteers who are able to step up into a leadership role and being able to share their knowledge and guiding other volunteers in caring for our urban forests. Next, we have our general badges. So we can start with the Backwoods Botanist badge. This one can be earned by attending an FCF-led event at one of our rugged sites. So right now, our only designated rugged site is our Mer Bleu site. This site is in a bit more of a remote area. It has uneven terrain and kind of limited accessibility. So actually our volunteers who helped us plant trees at this site last fall have already earned their Backwoods Botanist badge, and there will be plenty of opportunities throughout the year to earn yours as well through tree care events and future planting days at this site as well. Next up, we can talk about our seed collection badges. So if you're interested in joining FCF's seed collection team, there's 2 badges that you can work towards. So the first one is the seed collector badge. You can earn this one by completing your seed collection training and earning your certification. So this is a great way to get started and learn how to collect seeds properly to help support our native tree supply. Then we have the CD Stewardship badge, CD Steward badge. This one is a little bit more challenging, but there's 3 different ways that you can earn it. So option 1 is to report potential seed sources on 5 different occasions. Option 2 is to donate seed from 3 different seed lots. And then option 3 is to start seedling seeds from a certified seed collector and donate seedlings from 2 different seed lots. Our last set of badges here are our special badges. So these were created to recognize a few of our core volunteers who have really made a significant impact to our organization through their contributions. So first is the Research Ranger badge. This badge can be earned by completing work for an FCF-led research project. So one example of this is we're currently doing a research project in partnership with the University of Guelph. So we have our tiny forest plots at our base of operations, which are being used to measure biodiversity levels in our tiny forests. So one of our really dedicated volunteers, Simona, she really plays a key role in this project. So she helps us collect weekly soil samples and she sends them off to the university for research and analysis. So right now, she's the only recipient of the Research Ranger badge, but whenever we do become involved in newer research projects, we'll let our volunteers know. So if this kind of work interests you, then definitely keep an eye out for opportunities to earn this badge. And lastly, we have our tree taxi badge. So this badge was created to recognize volunteers who really go that extra mile, literally, by helping us transport trees to our various sites using an eco-friendly method. So right now, there's also only one recipient for this badge, who is Raymond. He's a volunteer who very generously uses his electric vehicle and his trailer to move our trees to our sites across the city. So this badge also serves as sort of an incentive for other volunteers who can help provide us with tree transportation using an EV or another sustainable method. So these special badges are kind of our way of saying thank you to our volunteers who've gone above and beyond to support our mission. Yeah, so like I mentioned before, we now have an opportunity for volunteers if they choose to become a leader. So like I said before, after earning your Forest Guardian badge, you have the opportunity to take your involvement even further by working towards the Stewardship Leader badge. So this badge is really perfect for volunteers who are looking to gain more leadership experience and field experience. This can be especially helpful for any students who want to learn or who want to build more hands-on skills in this field. So with the Stewardship Leader badge, you can take the next step by leading an FCF tree care event on your own, guiding other volunteers, and just helping maintain our sites. So any volunteers who pursue this badge will receive specialized one-on-one training with our staff to ensure that they do feel confident and prepared to take on this leadership role. So now that we've covered all of the badges you can earn, that's the end of my presentation. Just kidding, actually. I do have another surprise. Since you've all been very patient, I can give you a little sneak peek into something new that we've been working on, which is our core volunteer crew. So we can consider this a bit of an unofficial launch for that. So our core volunteer crew is for volunteers who do want to get involved, but on more of a regular basis, and who want to integrate volunteering into their schedule. So whether you can commit to as little as 1 hour or 4 hours a month, or even more than that, which is great, then there's definitely a place for you. You don't need any prior experience, and we will help provide any training that you do need. So there's 4 crews that you can join as a part of this program: the stewardship crew, the watering crew, nursery and farm crew, as well as the fundraising event crew. So I'll start off with the stewardship crew. So as part of this crew, you can help support our tree care and planting events by assisting us with setup, guiding volunteers, and ensuring that the proper tree care practices are followed. We also have our nursery and farm crew. So here, our volunteers can help us care for our young trees at our base of operations and in our nursery. So volunteers that are part of this crew can also help us with our infrastructure projects, such as setting up shade structures or organizing some of our materials, or just improving our growing space in general. And then we have our watering crew. So this is perfect for any volunteers who are looking to have more of a flexible schedule. So this crew helps with independent watering tasks, either at our base of operations or our other planting sites. So this is great for volunteers who maybe live near one of our sites and are able to commit a few hours a month to watering our trees during hot periods, which will make a huge impact. Since we have so many trees across so many different sites, having extra help during those heat waves is especially valuable, especially on weekends where maybe our staff aren't working or if we have other events going on. And then finally, our fundraising event crew. So this can be ideal for anyone who's interested in event planning and fundraising. So our volunteers will help assist with planning, coordinating, promoting, and providing day of support on these fundraising events. So last year, we had the opportunity to host our first ever annual fundraiser, which was a lunch and workshop. So we had volunteers help us out with creating decorations and promoting the event, and also helping with checking in some of our guests. And then throughout the year as well, we also run smaller fundraising events. Like we'll set up a booth or a table at some of the Just Food Community Farm events that help raise funds for our mission as well. So these events are typically held on weekends, and we really do value the help of our volunteers to help make them a success. So signups for the core volunteer crew are going to be open soon. So if anyone here isn't already signed up to our volunteer mailing list, you can scan this code here to be notified when we do open up those forms as well.